In other news, the Gupta brothers have missed another tax summons in India, failing to make an appearance today. The brothers were summoned by Indian tax officials after their properties in India were raided earlier this month, and several documents with transactions worth millions of dollars were seized. Officials are believed to be investigating money laundering claims and have already attached about 31 properties of the Guptas. Well, to discuss, we're now joined by our correspondent in India, Neha Poonia. Thank you for being with us. And Neha, how much trouble are the Gupta brothers in for missing this deadline again to appear before the tax authorities?
I can tell you this, a tax summons in India is a very, very serious matter, and any tax consultant will tell you that's one thing you don't want to miss. But in this particular case, the Gupta brothers have sent in their chartered accountant for the second time in 2 weeks, like you said. The first summons was for March 16th, which they missed. Today, they didn't make an appearance as well, and they've cited their busy schedule for that. And in light of that, the Income Tax Department has granted them one more extension. They'll have to appear before the department by April 2nd, else the Income Tax Department says it'll have no choice but to escalate the probe against the brothers.
What happens if they don't appear by April 2nd? Could this lead to them facing arrest?
Well, the Income Tax Department, as you can imagine, is not revealing too many details about what they're planning to do next because this is a sensitive case that involves financial matters. Many tax experts are saying that every time someone misses a summons in a case like this, where properties have been attached, where raids have already taken place, every missed summons tantamounts to some sort of admission of guilt. That's what experts are telling me. Of course, like I said, all of this is now in the purview of investigation. The Income Tax Department only limiting itself to the facts that it will escalate the probe. Will that mean arrest? We don't quite know yet.
A lot of properties have been attached. They own a lot of properties across India. What are the claims?
As far as the properties are concerned, the income tax officials have put that number at about 120, but any locals from Saharanpur, which is their hometown here in India, if you speak to any locals, they'll tell you that number is an underestimation and their properties are much higher than that number. And as far as these properties are concerned, the concern now is that many of these properties were undervalued in the documents that were seized during the raids at Gupta properties, and all of these homes and residences that were raided and are now under scrutiny are believed to have been bought or invested in the last 5 to 8 years. So now income tax officials are trying to find out what the source of this money was, whether or not this was illicit funds that came into India for the purpose of investment in their home country, and that's what they want the Gupta brothers to clarify.
Are we sure right now, Neha, that the Gupta brothers are definitely in India?
I spoke to one very close friend of the Gupta brothers just a short while back, and he told me that the brothers are certainly not in India, and that sort of adds up with the fact that they didn't make that appearance before tax officials today. What this close friend of the Guptas told me is that he knows for certain that the Gupta brothers are in Dubai currently along with the rest of their family. Of course, no official authority in India has been able to confirm that.
All right, and finally, you've suggested maybe they're looking into taxes being dodged by underestimating their real worth, but you've also mentioned illicit funds. How closely are Indian authorities cooperating with South African authorities right now?
As far as the Indian government is concerned, this probe by the Income Tax Department seems to be an independent one, because when we reached out to the Indian government, they told us that so far they've not received any kind of a note from the South African government seeking help in the matter. So it doesn't appear to be something that the two governments are cooperating on, but India has also simultaneously said that if the Cyril Ramaphosa government were to reach out to us, we would do everything possible to help them out on this front.
Thank you very much, SABC's correspondent in India, Neha Poonia. So the Gupta brothers missing another deadline set by tax authorities in India, and it seems like they're now in Dubai. We take a short break. We'll be back.